Hey guys, Lily Cat is here. Wait, open that. Oh, wait. This giant kitty. Say hi. He's like, why? Why are you doing this? Bye. Okay. Hello, it's August 2nd. We're pulling a Goddess of the Month from the Goddess Power Oracle by Colette, Baron-Reid. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see who we get. I just recorded the video yesterday for you guys on what it was like working with Danu. Lovely. And I'm really excited to see who we get next. Hi everybody, I see you guys coming in. We pulled the card from the Oracle deck that is this month's monthly Magic Book Club selection yesterday, which was the Ace of Cups, all about emotion. Giving emotion, receiving emotion, feeling emotion, transmuting emotion, not getting stuck in your emotions, allowing them to exist, etc., etc. It says you can't hear me. Oh, I know why. Sorry. Is that better? My bad. Okay. I was talking about the Ace of Cups, saying how emotions are the name of the game this month, sitting with them, especially in this world of very complicated emotions right now, of a lot of crazy things going down. It's important to be able to feel how you feel and be able to know it. In one of the classes I'm teaching, we read the book Emotional Alchemy. Highly recommend that book. It teaches you how to deal with what's going on in such a way that's not running away from it, but also not letting it control you, rather than working together with it. So, on that note, now that we're working with emotions this month, let's see how it will correspond to the goddess that we pick. Setting the intention that you get whatever you need, come through in a way that is easy for you to understand and benefit from. Okay, let's see who we've got. Ooh, interesting. I wonder how this is going to happen. I've been pulling some very interesting cards lately. We got Bronwyn for forgiveness. Her headdress is epic. All her bling is epic. Check her out. Bronwyn, forgiveness. That bling, right? What number is she? 7. So she'll be on page 14. I really appreciate that about this guidebook, that each of the descriptions is exactly 2 pages long, so you can always find who they are. Okay, so here's what we say about Bronwyn. I don't know much about her at all. I'm going to be learning. Okay. Here's the empowerment message, and then there's the alignment message secondly. First, the empowerment message. Sometimes life invites us into conditions that challenge us to the core. As the Celtic goddess Bronwyn forgave those who caused her own death by a broken heart, interesting, she asks you to set yourself free from the seeds of resentment that will surely choke the life out of your dreams. We are wounded by others and weave stories about our hurts and losses that live on in our hearts and minds. We come to distrust the potential of love and connection. No matter what your story or when it began, forgiveness is the key to freedom here. Forgiveness allows for mending and repair, opening the heart to give and receive. If you need to forgive yourself or others, now is the time to do it. Keep your heart open and you can begin again. Only beauty, freedom, and treasures are found in the spirit of forgiveness. The goddess Bronwyn is here to support you. Here's the alignment message. This is more the shadow vibes. Sometimes we unintentionally cause hurt or pain to others. Sometimes our motive really is to hurt. Now is the time for self-inventory and making amends. Your alignment task is to be 100% accountable for your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, motives, and actions. You are not doing this, however, to experience forgiveness from someone else or even from yourself. It's to have the strength and fortitude to be accountable and take responsibility for your actions. In this way, neither guilt nor shame can take root in your heart. You stand empowered and humble with your head high, no matter the consequences. You will always be the beneficiary of such an act. The goddess Bronwyn says deep healing comes from this kind of courage and respect. This reminds me of a really huge tenet in my life. One of the, might as well say gospels that I follow is integrity. You know, we all do things to apologize for sometimes. Sometimes we're all just in the wrong. But I do my best to do things that I'm proud of, that I wouldn't mind being quoted on, that I wouldn't mind being recorded doing, that kind of thing. And that's not from someone else's arbitrary rules. That's what I believe is right and wrong with it. And so I'm looking forward to this. And just the other day, I was working on some deep soul clearing. I'm working on a soul retrieval method right now. So as I'm doing that, I'm also going through the process myself while I'm forming it up. So I know what I'm putting everyone through who takes the course. And part of the practices that I'm doing had me go really, really deep in and look and see if there was any connections still active with anyone from previous parts of my life. And it's funny because some of them who I expected to be, I didn't feel anything. And in my mind, I just imagined myself looking into their eyes and being like, just totally open, like, everything's fine, you know. Not a magnet toward, not a repellent away from, just politely unconcerned, basically, like, I hope you're well, and feeling in my heart that I authentically did wish the best for them, authentically. I had no desire for them to experience any pain, even if they'd given me pain. I just didn't want to care about it. And I think that's what forgiveness really does. It cuts you from the chains of having to care about someone else's well-being who didn't do your in a way that would hurt you. Because remember, when you send things out, they have to come through you first. So anything you send out toward another person burns you on the way through and out. And I've also learned that coming under a psychic attack too in my line of work, especially as a reflector. People see things in me that may or may not be in me, that might be something reflecting to them. And now I know the difference, but especially growing up, you don't necessarily know what's going on. And sometimes I could be knocked a little bit unsteady by someone who had seen something in me that was mirroring for themselves, even if it wasn't necessarily in me, and I didn't know whether to believe that it was. And now I know who I am. I know I'm not perfect, but I know that what issues are mine and what issues aren't mine. So if I come across someone who's like, you're this way and that way, I'm like, well, I know that's not actually me. I can see, and especially if it's like a stranger, you know, sometimes, especially in the internet kind of stuff, you can trigger people who don't even know you, and they can be very vocal about the fact they don't agree with you and wish not great things for you. And over the years, I've had to learn how to build up guards against that. So it usually doesn't get to me. And when it's totally clear and it doesn't get to me, I can imagine from the person who's angry how much energy they're winding up in it, in that emotion, how much they're wrapping up in it. And it's definitely a practice to just kind of be unresponsive energetically, because that energy can very easily hook in, plug in, and then all of a sudden you have a cord with that person, you have a connection with them. And sometimes it's nice to be psychically connected with others, and sometimes it's not, depending on the health, the mental and spiritual health of everyone involved. And so I know that in times in my life when I've forgiven people, even when there's no way that amends could be made, maybe they'd left this earth, maybe I had no idea what had happened to them, especially for like early childhood wounding. Forgiving someone is a spirit cleanse in yourself. It all of a sudden frees up all this energy that was low-key hanging on to something that then is all of a sudden now back available to you to use towards something that you want. So it's exciting work. Let's see. It's interesting. I'll tell you guys. So Bronwyn, I don't know much about her. I'll have to look her up. I have pulled a couple cards in the past couple days that have been like, like a tower card. What are you holding on to? Something's crumbling. Another one was, well, when you go through rough times, be aware that allows your spiritual light to grow more. And so see those times as an opportunity for your light to grow. And I was reading these cards this morning at the beach. I was doing some simple ritual up there. And I was thinking to myself, I actually feel fine. I feel fine. I'm not going through anything gnarly right this moment. And so it made me wonder. Now I'm very curious to see what's going to happen this week. Is something going to happen to test me that hasn't happened yet? Or is this something that's going to come through in me feeling what's going on in the collective or whatever? Because even though it's important to look at the stages of your world correctly, crazy shit's going on in the collective, and also what's happening in your own personal world. They may not be the same. Like in my own personal world, things are cool. All my relationships are healthy right now. Everyone's treating each other well. We're all doing pretty well. It's okay. We have our moments, but everything's healthy. So it could be reminiscent of what goes on the world stage, which it's important to stay grounded in, but also it's important to realize that that's not all of life. Earth life is more than just what's going on politically, and to be aware of all of it and do everything we can to make things better, the way that we personally each can. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Mia Kirby. Thanks, Baby Goyle. Baby Goyle. Oh, Dreamy Rainbows, this video is synchronistic for me. I'm so glad. I love that. I invite synchronicity and epiphany always. It's so nice to be that for someone. And I do use that a lot in my work. I work a lot on synchronicity. That's one of those spirit technologies that serves us well when we learn how to respect it and hone it and call it in and use it for the benefit of all. Okay, Baby Goyle. How do the mechanics of the law of attraction work? How does the conscious universe deliver things to us, not just your perception changing? When they come in with a backstory. And also, it's very important to remember that we're not creating in a vacuum. A lot of the law of attraction stuff is like, oh, well, you can make whatever you want, whenever you want, period. As if the world around us were a blank slate. But it's not a blank slate. There's stuff going on already that was here before our bodies were here in the system that we're in. Which is the 3D Earth 2020 at this point reality. We all have different things we're experiencing, but there are some common things like gravity, like electricity, like the fact that this landmass happens to be called the United States and everything that goes with that. We happen to speak English here, at least I do, and a lot of people in the U.S. do, although not all, and I believe all heritage is important. So, certain things. So it's important to know that when you create, some things are going to be easier, some things are going to be harder, depending on what you want, how the world currently is, where your momentum currently is. I'm sure, Baby Girl, if you were to look back at, say, lists you'd made, and tomorrow morning is the full moon. So tonight is the perfect time to make a manifestation list. I'm sure if you were to go back and look at the manifestation list or the wishes that you made over the years, some of them did come true, some of them didn't. This is why it's so important to keep a manifestation journal, intuition journals, these kinds of things, so you can go back later and look and see what did come true, what was perfectly accurate, and you can see what works best for you. Everybody has different strengths and weaknesses, like with any skill. But part of what humans are supposed to do is help to shape our world with our minds and our hearts and our spirits. So the law of attraction isn't something that goes against nature. It's part of nature. And it's important for us to figure out how to use all of the talents and skills that we have to create a life that we can be proud of. Ashley, thoughts on the Mandela effect? We're in a break-off point right now. We're in a branch point of the Mandela effect right now. Everyone's going to remember this quarantine and COVID and social justice shift time differently. I just did a session this past week with a beautiful soul sister who lives in Portland. And she was telling me that she's been going out most nights and what that's like. And, the life that she lives in up there is very different than the life I'm living even right here in LA, where my life is doing a lot of work, but it's all virtual and taking care of a baby every day. That is a very different life, but they're both true. I think that the lives that the timeline that she and I are on is the same timeline, but there are lots of other people who are having vastly different experiences. There are entire industries being born and dying during this time. I can tell you that from my work, my schedule has been more booked now than ever, because when people are home hanging out with themselves and the people closest to them and not able to run away from the stillness, they're realizing that, inner work is important. It actually makes the difference between a happy life sometimes, and maybe now there's time to do this. I also think that this time has activated a lot of people, and so when you're going through activations like a starseed activation, like a mystical or empath activation, it's sometimes nice to have a guide to take you along the way. So yeah, I also think that there are plenty of people out there whose businesses have totally tanked during this time because people can't come out, and maybe their business wasn't online based like mine, so it's not so easy. So, there's going to be so many different stories told of this, which is why, again, it's important to both be aware of what's going on and make your own narrative. Talk to the people in your life. Make sure you're taking as positive a view as you can, even if that positive view is, yes, there's major shit going down and we're going to fix it. We're not going to forget. It's not going to blow over. We're not going to forget about people of different races needing to be treated equally. We're not going to forget about not being cool with the huge, massive amounts of slaves in this world right now. The thing is, it was always there. The first time, for instance, the human trafficking thing kicked me off was like 9 or 10 years ago. And I got completely paralyzed psychically by it. And it was so overwhelming. And then my guides came to me very sternly after a few days of me basically not being able to move emotionally, because I was so stuck in that. And I was getting remote viewing or astral travel input of what that world was like. And it was extremely debilitating because I had no idea how to do anything about it. I couldn't find anything on how I could help. So I just felt paralyzed and super messed up. And my guides came to me very sternly and they said, if you're not helping, if you're not doing something to help, you being in despair about this is actually making it worse. It's increasing the momentum that this creates. So you need to remember your role and go do that, which is to hold a certain kind of vibration where people can come and get refilled, which is why I have to do the various self-care that I do in order to do that, because that's part of my dharma. So yeah, those are thoughts. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Okay, yeah, looks like that's about it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dreamy Rainbows. Yeah, I think that it's so important to keep ourselves mentally cracked. And no one really knows if you are but you. Because you can put on a face of whatever and seem to be great. Only you know how much you're connecting with your sacred spaces inside. Only you know how much you're connecting with whatever you see God to be. Only you know if you're cultivating a space of inner peace and as much joy as you can get, or if you're allowing your mind to get away from you and ruminate on things that bring you down. Okay, Ashley. Well, thank you, baby girl. I love you too. Ashley, what do we do tomorrow morning regarding the manifestation list? Just write down what you want. If you're a mystic and you can see energies, imagine that the moonlight, and it's great to do it tonight too. Do it whenever the night is. I'm probably going to do mine early in the morning, but I'm definitely going to do some moon gazing tonight. Think of all the things that you want to experience in your life and in the world. Use your manifestation to help the world. One of the things that I like to include in my manifestation list is that I am witnessing a world that is healing and becoming better and better. So that's just one example, but whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel, because your mind creates the destination, but your emotions are the fuel. They're the gas that gets you there. So think of and let your mind wander, declare a sacred space, have your notebook, and write what you want. Write what sounds good to you. Make yourself a vignette, do a free write on it, make a list, whatever. And then just release it. Let the emotions come up, let yourself really feel it strongly, and then let it go out. Imagine that it travels out in a wave and hits the edges of the universe and then can come back to you, reflect back to you like a projector screen. Holographic projector, which is what this is. Now, after the full moon, when the moon starts to go back empty, energy is going to be moving out. So the moment of the full moon and the time where the moon is really full, for about 3 days-ish, you can do this. It's almost like you're taking moonlight in your hands. If you're a mystic who likes to use imagery, you can imagine that you're taking these handfuls of silky, white light, misty moonlight in your hands and weaving them into the world that you want and then placing it around you. Yeah, that's one. There are many, many more. You can do a little internet search on it. Tons of things you can do. You can also make moon water by setting water somewhere where the moon shines on it in glass. Make sure you use glass bottles. Also, tonight's a great night to charge your crystals. Put them out in the moonlight so that they can fill up with energy. It's like plugging in your phone is how crystals in the moonlight works. And it's okay if you can't put them outside, so long as you put them somewhere where the moonlight can hit them. So that includes the dash of your car, in your windowsill, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. Baby Goyle, why do humans love rituals so much? Just did mine and it felt insane. I love that question. Well, that's how we connect. Rituals put our mind in a different state so that we can more deeply feel the unseen realm. And we're meant to exist in all the realms. We already do exist in all the realms. The fact that we block a lot of it out in the current world ain't healthy for our brains, obviously. So we love rituals because they put us in that sacred space. And also, the things work. I mean, they work. Especially if you put this or better at the end. So universe, because again, we're not in a vacuum. We are a smaller piece of a greater universal consciousness. So if you say, okay, universe, I want this or something better, and feel free to shift me to receive my best, then just look at what happens. Just look at what happens, especially if you take this agreement within you to surrender to the process as it goes, trusting that you're being refined and trusting that you're being improved over time. Yeah, rituals feel good. And they can be super simple. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be all fancy. You don't have to have a ton of props for it. Really, all the props, it's nice to ground things in physical objects. So yeah, I use props for rituals. I use my elements and various things, crystals and singing, tuning forks and all that kind of stuff. But all of that, like I said, although it's nice to put it in physical form, for a ritual, all of that helps the mind. All of that helps the mind say, look, I'm doing things with my body. Also, to some extent, and this is, for instance, in the altar course that I'm teaching right now, when you create microcosms with the physical world of stuff you want to happen in the physical world, there's an added dimension of power to it that doesn't exist if you don't bring it into the physical world. So, yeah. All right, dreamy rainbows. Grab some moonlight and throw it on your crystals. Yeah, I mean, that's why you set them out, right? Also, if you want to cleanse your crystals, rinse them in cool water and imagine that you're kind of clearing their hard drive because they store information. All right, so cynical millennial. Humans are a creature of routine. Might as well indulge ourselves through positive routines like ritual. Yeah, I definitely love routine. My sun is in Taurus and my Mars and my Mercury are in Taurus. So in my best life, when I wake up in the morning, I already have my exercise clothes out. I get out of bed. I do my little meditation while I'm in bed. Then I get out of bed and I do exactly the same ritual. I brush my teeth. I oil pull. I put a bentonite clay mask on. I set my clock for 20 minutes. I come make my bed, refill Lily's water thing. I don't know, do little thing, fold clothes from last night. I don't know, whatever. Then when it's over, I go wash it off, rinse it off, da-da-da. Then I heat my hot water. Then I take my supplements and my hot water. Then I do my little morning workout. Then I go for my run every day, except when I take days off from working out. It's all the same. And for me, that's great because I don't have to decide. I don't have to say, what am I going to do next? No, I can just be sleepy and out of it and do all the things. And then by the time I come to, I've already done my self-care for the day and it's great. So I know that for me, rituals and routines are great. Now, other people, especially with other astrological makeups, might not like that as much, but I know that I very much enjoy them. Okay, so we've gotten off topic all over the place, but I'm glad. I always love talking to you guys. Branwen, again, is the goddess, and let's see what she's like. I don't know. I'm going to have to look her up and see, and I look forward to visiting her and then telling you guys how it went. What else to update you on? I'm going to release a class for September. I don't know which one yet. I'm going to look at my classes and see which one feels good. If you guys have any questions about specific ones you'd like to do, DM me and let me know because I want to do something that you want for while I'm on the road. And then when I get back, we'll do a live call for whichever the classes that I bring back out of the archive. So I'll let you know when I know what it is. And then in October, I'm doing a soul retrieval group. Very deep work, very intense work. I'm only taking on a few students. And then I'm thinking in November we'll do a run of shadow work. I'm thinking that we might try to put something together with you guys. We'll see. I don't know. I'm still brainstorming on it, some of it. But yeah. Sending you guys love. Hopefully you have a good time working with Bronwyn. I think you probably will. I think I want to say she's like Celtic from like the European part of the world. Funny, that's 2 in a row now. So, because these goddesses in this deck are from all over the place. So yeah, okay, thanks guys. Thanks Peaceful Healer 999. Thanks Dreamy Rainbows. Love you guys so much. Let's give you a Reiki pop. Sending you nourishing energy to fill you with light, to gently wash away anything that needs to go. to remind you that you are a sacred piece of creation. You hold things that no one else has. You're here for a reason. And to give you the strength to rest when you need to, take action when you need to, for you to know what it is best for you to do, and to do that with courage, no hesitation. Okay, love you guys.